it's Scott Pacha with the weekly Paleo report. And yeah, did you see that thumbnail? I mean, look at this tree. I'm going to talk today about Mars in Cancer. I have somewhat neglected it. It's been there since like September, in and out, but mostly in Cancer. The power of water to pick up that tree and slam it against another tree. Wow. Can you imagine how much water was here? Anyway, now the moon is in Gemini. Just went in there this morning here in Costa Rica. I don't know, what time that will be happening for you, but it's staying there right on through Friday. It's going to square the sun tomorrow. I'm going to read that Sabian symbol for 16 degrees, 21 minutes of Gemini. The sun is at 1621 of Pisces. Moving on, and I'm going to say it's conjunct Saturn now. Okay, it's within like 7 degrees. It's not exactly conjunct Saturn until next Wednesday. So we'll talk more about it in next Wednesday's Paleo report. But yeah, it's probably a couple weeks here of Sun conjunct Saturn. We just got done with Mercury conjunct Saturn. But the big news that I'm going to say is that Mercury Venus. Oh my God, did you feel Mercury go into Aries? That was Monday. Come out of confused chaos into a hothead and have those intense conversations. Mercury and Aries. It's gonna keep on going up. It goes retrograde on the 15th. But basically, it is conjunct Venus. Get this now, folks. Are you ready? Basically, now they are within 8 degrees of each other. And they're going to... Venus is going retrograde. Mercury is passing it up. They're going to exactly conjunct next Tuesday. And then they're both going back into Pisces. 24, 25 degrees of Pisces. Turning around and coming back together again like Jack and Jill going up the hill. Back into Aries. They are conjunct until April 16th. We're talking more than 5 weeks. So I want to be really talking about that today. In the meantime, yeah, there's so much going on. Let me just give the rest of the aspects before I start going into the report, The cool thing is that the sun, while it's conjunct Saturn, it's also trine Mars. That is exact on Friday. Hallelujah. Absolutely beautiful. Saturday is very intense as the moon in Cancer squares Venus in Aries, then goes up to conjunct Mars, right? And then trines the sun. That's going to be really awesome. Then she goes into Leo on Sunday. And we'll trine Mercury and Venus on Monday. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. So, let me sit down and find a spot here and talk at you. All right, everybody. I gotta say, I am irritated today. I am frustrated today. This is not the best day for me to be doing a Paleo report. As you can see, I've got water coming out of the side of my head. Whoosh! I don't know how you're doing, but that Mercury going into Aries, hot head, coming up to Venus, okay? I mean, I want to talk about this Mercury Venus, but first, I want to get a little bit of an overview here. I mean, and I think I said last week or before, March is huge, okay? I mean, today's Ash Wednesday, the beginning of Lent, 4 weeks. Ramadan is happening right now, okay? The eclipses are coming in. We've got a total lunar eclipse, okay, happening next week. I'll be talking about that. After that, March 29th, we have a solar eclipse in Aries. Okay. And all of this and I think here's the real stickler for me, Mars in Cancer. Wow. Wow. I have not talked about it. It's been there for a long time. I haven't really wanted to dive into, in the old books, Mars is in its fall in Cancer. I don't like to say, I don't like to use these, exalted, dignified, detriment, fall. But they do bring up a certain amount of, difficulty or ease. Yeah, challenge or flow. And Mars is not flowing in Cancer. Of course, there is an evolutionary intention in every sign. Mars moving through every sign says, you know what? This is a time, okay, where I need to fight for safety, for security, okay, for a sense of belonging, for I want emotional connection. I want this sense of belonging. I mean, and so the positive side is, yes, you can build a house, okay, with Mars in Cancer. You may buy a house, okay, you may move, to a new location, okay, but there is this, underlying, the other thing Mars in Cancer is really good for is making safe containers where people can feel their feelings and have that sense of belonging and safety. So what? They can fall apart, go into the inner child, maybe go into past lives, okay, rebirth. And we know that birth is painful and challenging. And then the baby needs to really angst its way out of there. The baby actually emits a certain chemical that tells mama to start contracting. It's time for me to come out. So it's not like baby gets pushed out. Baby says and baby knows. Yeah? And this birth process is the most painful process that a person can go through. And I even maybe talked about it last week, but this is one of the things that men can have against women, is that they have this power to give birth that a man will never have. And it is power. It's emotional power. And when we get into, and so this is just kind of a time, it's almost like, for the thumbnail, I almost want to use a whirlpool. Think of a toilet flushing. Think of a whirlpool where this water goes round and round and round, and we go down, down, down. People drown in rivers when they get stuck in a whirlpool. Yeah? I mean, it can be very dangerous. And with Mercury going retrograde, Venus going retrograde, we're going to have Neptune and Saturn go retrograde. The north node of the moon in Pisces is going retrograde. We're going to, and the sun coming up to Saturn is reflect. And trining Mars, okay, in Cancer is saying reflect on, and it's like peel back the layers. Hit that elevator button that says I am going down into my inner child, into my past, into my deepest needs and my deepest fears and my deepest anxieties. We can be having trouble sleeping. We can be having trouble relaxing. We can be, I liken it to, being late for work and you come up to a red light. And that red light is taking so long to turn green, you think it's broken. and you're gripping that steering wheel and your knuckles are white. Turn green, man. I'm late for work. I gotta get out of here. Ah! It's uncomfortable. It has a lot to do with shadow work. It has a lot to do with this whole time we're in of 2025, of Pisces, the snake shedding its skin, letting go of thousands of years of patriarchy. Everything is in chaos. Pisces rules chaos. And now Mercury and Venus, okay, in Aries, Aries would like to get on with it. Get going. Just leave it behind. I can't take it anymore. Just go. Run the red light. Sorry, Charlie. Like I said, we got 5 to 6 weeks of these guys going retrograde. They came over Saturn, North Node, Neptune. They're going back over Saturn, North Node, Neptune. They're coming back a third time over Saturn, North Node, Neptune. Wow, I mean, we don't have Saturn and Neptune getting out of Pisces and conjuncting at the first degree of Aries until June. Whoosh! We don't have Mars going into Leo until April 19th. So we got these retrogrades till April 16th. Mars in water, it's like, you ever have those high river boots, those hip boots that the fishermen use? It's like, wading through the river, trying to get somewhere, going upstream against the water in your river boots, Mars in Cancer, until, right, April 19th. So it's time to hang in there. And we're coming up to, this total lunar eclipse. I'll talk about it more next week. But let's also consider the south node of the moon is the known familiar past. We have a year and a half from January of 25 to June or July of 26 of the south node of the moon in Virgo. Analyze, categorize, fix, engineer, get it straight, integrate it. We can have crisis, we can have health crisis, we can have job crisis. Now we can have relationship crisis. Mars in Cancer can have domestic crisis. I mean, wow. The United States is a Cancer. Mars is going back and forth over the sun. Okay, Mars, Sun in Cancer in the United States. Hello. We have a raving, lunacy in the freaking White House, man. Whoosh! So, that's what, this week's mantra is about. Well, first, okay, now I want to get into, Venus-Mercury conjunct. I'll be talking about it more, but what? Venus rules Taurus and Libra. It deals with our values. The bottom line is, what do I value? My possessions, my money, everything goes according to what I value. What I think is beautiful, what I think is necessary to survive, how much I am able to receive and value myself. So Mercury is this time now, 6 weeks of thinking about, and really looking at very deeply, how much do I value myself? And this is a time of what? Changing values. This end of thousands of years, this end of cycles is changing what we think is really important. Changing our priorities, changing our identities, and changing our lives. our income, our location, our bodies to move, letting go of old self into a new self. This is a rebirth, and it's going to take all year. Saturn and Neptune are not done conjoining till February of 26. This is so deep, I can't express. So we have to go through a lot of old garbage. We have to go through a lot of childhood patterning, family conditioning. Look at everything, and it's tedious, and it's uncomfortable. We have to sit in discomfort, irritability, frustration. I don't like this, I want to move on, but oh my God, all this Pisces energy, I try to get somewhere, and guess what? We're not going anywhere. You can try to escape, avoid, and deny, but I'll tell you what, man. The universe is saying, sit and stew in your own juices. What else? Venus rules Libra. Relationships. Is this a time for counseling? Is this a time for therapy? Is this a time for talking? I need to talk over this with my partner and that with my partner. Am I spending my money here, or I need my money there, or I need money from my partner, or my partner's got all the money, or da-da-da-da. I mean, finances can come up, home issues, who's cooking, who's cleaning, who's taking care of, who's managing. Is there peace in the home? Are we able to sleep at night? Can we sleep in the same bed or together? Do we need to space, separate? We want to emotionally connect, but we've got all these, fears in the way, problems, issues, control issues. There can be jealousy, revenge, possessiveness, demanding, tantrums, emotional outbursts. This is all part of get down, feel it. And Mars in Cancer is like an erupting volcano. It's like not a volcano, it's a geyser. Think of Yellowstone. These hot water shooting up out of the ground, scalding hot, steaming. You can burn yourself. I want to encourage you to do both, and that's actually what the Sabian symbol for this moon is. And I end with, the Sabian symbol for the moon is the calm, and the mantra is about remaining calm and observing. But before you can do that, you need to let it out. And as you let it out, talk about it. Bang pillows. Get a bat and bang your pillows. Get a boxing bag. Get some sweat. Heat, hot water, sweat. Yeah? Then you can come into this mature, observing space. So it's interesting. I have to read 2 Sabian symbols today because you'll see why. So the first one is Gemini 16. A woman activist in an emotional speech, dramatizing her cause. Mars in Cancer. And the sun trining that now it's saying yes. Like the sun coming through the trees here says yes. Feel it. Let it out. Blow. The keynote is a passionate response to a deeply felt new experience. Then the moon moves in to exactly square the sun at 16 degrees 21 minutes. We always round up with the Sabian symbols, right? So for the actual square moon, the head of a robust youth changes into that of a mature thinker. The transformation of physical vitality into the power. Physical vitality into the power to build concepts and intellectual formulations through which knowledge can be transferred. While in the preceding symbol we see the explosive release of impulses generated by a new realization of what is right and wrong, the woman way, controlled by feelings. Now we have a picture of a process of quiet and steady metamorphosis of biological chi, red energy into mind power, which can be seen symbolically as the man way. This was written in the 70s. The symbolism may seem old-fashioned today. That's in the 70s. Maybe the 60s. But the two contrasting approaches to communication of new experiences remain evident, however one wishes to symbolize them. What we see pictured is the transformation of emotions into mind, of instincts into thoughts, a process of mental metamorphosis. The head of a robust youth transforms into a mature thinker. Think of that guy on the rock, right? You know, the philosopher. Sometimes they put him on the toilet now. I forget his name, or the sculptor that did it. But I see that I'm moving into the shadows, so let's boogie on out of here. This is a year unlike any other, with everything shifting around. Like the eye of a storm, I can stay still and observe as it all goes down. There's a lot going down in our relationships, in ourselves, in our family, in our society, maybe in the economy coming up. We're going to see a lot throughout this year as Jupiter comes closer into square with Saturn. But it can feel like a storm, it can feel like a hurricane, it can feel like an earthquake, it can feel like a tornado. Oh, that's the song. That's the song for this week. Spinning wheels, got to go down, got to go round. You got no money and you got no home. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Spinning wheels, all alone. Drop all your troubles by the riverside. Ride a painted pony, let the spinning wheel ride. I don't know if you know that one. It's freaking old. But it's great. I can't help it, man. Everything is spinning around. And I also thought of the horse on the merry-go-round going up and down. We can have waves of high enthusiastic joy, and then bam, crash like a wave on the beach. Right? You ever go surfing and just wipe out? And then rise up again. Oh, this is great. Oh, the next day. Oh, so whoosh. Hang in there. And transform through your own spiritual practice. Wim Hof, breath work, yoga, meditation, jogging, whatever, playing your music, singing, belting it out, hiking, climbing. I mean, there's so many ways to release. I want to encourage you, Mars in Cancer, we just got to release it, release it, release it. Don't let it build to a point of explosion and cracking where you break down and fall apart. Let it out little by little, day by day. When the feeling comes up, the anger comes up, speak it, write it, yell it, scream it. We're all human. This is what Cancer is so good with and beautiful about. I see Cancer as what I call the human experience. Cancer can really accept the emotional lunacy, craziness, the moon, subconscious energies. They feel them, they know them, they're familiar with them. Their mothers holding their babies and the babies scream and cry and mama's there. The high vibrations of Cancer is so beautiful. It's accepting of our human craziness. Accept yourself, accept your emotions, accept your past, hug yourself. This is all going to pass. This is all going to go away. So, and keep in mind, this is a year. This is not, next year will be different. Last year was different. 10 years from now, everything's going to be different. But this is a year unlike any other, with everything shifting around. Like the eye of a storm, I can stay still and observe as it all goes down. I also think of Bob Dylan, Watching the River Flow. That's another song, but hey, I like spinning wheels for this week. Namaste. Aloha. So much.